Hi everyone, it's April. I am here today with a tutorial request that I had from Tamika. Hi Tamika. I had posted some cards on Facebook that I'm donating to a silent auction for breast cancer and breast cancer survivors. I go to a fashion show every year, so I'm making some cards to donate. And these were the cards. I didn't stamp, oh, I did stamp on the inside. These are all Unity stamps, and I'll show you which stamps I used. They're very simple. This one says always, follow your passion, joy, kindness scatters beauty wherever it is shared, loved, strength doesn't come from what you can do, it comes from overcoming the things you once thought you couldn't, and adore. If you have good thoughts, they will shine out your face like sunbeams and you will always look lovely. So these were the 4 that I had posted on Facebook, and today I will show you how I made them. So what I used was 1 piece of cardstock that is cut at 5 by 10 inches and scored down the middle at 5. And this will be my card base. So this card will measure 5 by 5. So I'm going to go ahead and fold this here. So this will be my card base. I also used Lawn Fawn Craft Dies, the large and small stitch square stackables. So my first layer is a black stitch square right here that will go on here. And this measures 4.5 inches. And then for my images, and I had some done already, this is on the 4-inch stitch square. But if you don't have the stitch squares, you can make whatever size square you want to, or shape. But I'm using these. So those are the dies. The stamps that I used are from Unity Stamps, and this one is Donna Poppies. And it looks like this. So there's 4 stamps. And they're very large stamps. I'll show you in my hand. This is the larger stamp, so that's very big size. So you have the, background shape, and then you have the outline shape. And then it also comes with these 2, and I did use both on my cards. And then I also used Donna Downey Inspire Words. These are different. There's 2 sets of words that she has. I'm using the Inspire Words today. And the other one is called, the one that I used on the cards I showed, is called Adore Words. And these are very large stamps as well. They measure, I mean, here's my palm, so they're pretty big. About 3 inches, probably 3.5. So I'm going to use these today. If you don't have these stamps, you can use any sentiment you want. You could probably use the Heidi Swapp die cut words instead of the stamp for your sentiment on the front. And if you don't have these stamps, here's an example of something else you can use. These are by My Favorite Things, and they're called the Scribble Roses. There's the information. Whoops, sorry. So any kind of stamps that you have that have a solid background and then an outline on top would work. I did make a tag with the Scribble Roses, and now I don't know where it's at. Oh, here it is. And this was used with watercolors. So you can see how it gives you the solid background and then the outline on top. I know Altenew makes some stamps like that that you can layer. Any kind of stamps that you have would work for this. Now, then you have to decide what you want to use. You can use watercolors, which is what I did for this tag. I used Gansey Gansai Tambi watercolors that look like this. And I just wet the color, brushed it on the stamp, and then stamped. And used Memento Tuxedo Black ink on top. I'd rather use Ranger Archival ink, except I don't know where my ink pad is at this very moment. You can also use a spray. On this one I did a spray using Heidi Swapp Color Shine in Sweet Cherry. And what I do is I spray the ink in like a tinfoil bowl and then dip my stamp in there and then stamp for the red background. So you can use that if you don't have watercolors. You can also use sprays. Today what I'm going to use are the new Prima oil pastels. I love these, and these are really easy to use too. And I got these from Art Attack Supplies, and I believe they were $20 for 24 colors, and they're awesome. So they're pretty, you know, they're affordable, and they work really well. So let's get started. And also, this was a tutorial I found, I think it's from a year or two ago, on the Unity Stamp YouTube channel. I will link the original video down below for you. So the first thing I'm going to start with is my little 4x4 piece of cardstock. I'm using Michael's 110 pound cardstock that I've cut down to 4x4. And I'm going to take my stamp block, and I always start with the larger flower, so I'm starting with my background flower first. And the oil pastel color I'm going to use is red, just called red. There's also a vermilion, but I'm going to use the darker red. And actually, you can use any color you want to. I mean, it doesn't have to be red, even though poppies are traditionally red. You can use whatever color you feel. Probably be pretty in blues or turquoise, that kind of color. So I'm just rubbing pretty lightly on here. I'm going to get a baby wipe out really quick. Now, you would want to have a little bit of water on the side. I'm just going to spray some into this little bowl. And then I'm going to take a brush and I'm just going to start wetting I'm not drenching it, but I'm moving that color around so that it liquefies. I'm trying to get all that wet. And I'm actually using a homemade shimmer spray, not plain water. The oil pastels don't have any shimmer to them. So if you want shimmer, that's what I'm using. Otherwise, you can use plain water. And then I'm just going to stamp my image. So I'm just going to come here. And I don't want to go right in the center because I want to leave white space for that sentiment. So I'm just going to stamp that down and then lift up. And you got this kind of watercolor effect with your color. So I'm just going to wipe that up. Wipe off my stamp. They clean up really easily as well. Okay. Then I'm going to take the smaller background stamp and do the same thing. So I'm just coloring, I'm coloring on my stamp pretty lightly, just rubbing it across. And then I'm just going to do the same thing and wet that. Okay, now I'm gonna do this on the opposite side, maybe like that. And I'll probably have my sentiment go there, so you can put a little bit more here if you want to, like that. I'm just gonna wipe that up. And put that to the side. Now you do want to, and then you're done with your oil pastels for now. You do want this to be dry before you stamp on with your black. So I'm going to quickly heat dry this and I will be right back. Okay, so now this is heat dried. It's nice and dry. I'm going to take my outline stamp and I'm going to outline those images. Now with the cling stamp, obviously it's kind of hard to see if you're lining it up correctly. Most of the time I end up stamping not exactly on the image, but that's okay with me. I like the way that looks. So I'm just going to take my large outline stamp. I've used Memento Tuxedo Black. And I'm going to try to line this up as best I can on top. Press that down. And you get the outline image on there. And that's all I've used for the large. And then I'm going to go to the small and do the same thing. And I'm just going to line this up. I kind of went off, I think. And that one's like this. And then this one is like that. Oops, so I end up with this. Now, if you're not okay with the, you see how it's kind of got white spaces in there. If you're not okay with that, all you have to do is, let me get this dry real quick, hold on. Get up that black. What you can do is you can take your color block, and I'm going to take some more of that oil pastel in red. And I'm just going to put a little over here on my block. And I'm going to wet that with my brush again. And you can go in and just fill in that color if you think there's too much white for you. Be careful of getting on the black if you've used Memento ink, because it will run. That's why I like to use the Ranger Archival. But I'm just filling that in with a little bit more red to make it a little bit more vibrant. Again, it's up to you. So then I have that. So now we're done with that stamping. And I'm going to heat dry this real quick and be right back. Okay, sorry, I don't know what happened. I kind of lost some footage, but I went ahead and stamped my Dream sentiment with the Memento Tuxedo Black on here. And then I'm just going to adhere my black cardstock to the front of my card. And I've used score tape. And then you would just adhere the front of this, the image onto the front of your card. And I'm using a nice wide score tape for this, in conjunction with a smaller one. I like score tape, but you can use, of course, whatever glue or adhesive you prefer. Getting all that off, and I missed a little bit right here. And now I'm just going to put this on the front. And there is the finished card. And then on one of them, I had adhered some black and silver sequins on this one. So you can do that as well. But this is the card. It's very simple to make. If you have any questions, please leave them below. And I hope you guys have a great week. Thanks. Bye.